President John Dramani Mahama has instructed the Inspector General of Police, IGP, Dr. George Akuffo-Dampare, to investigate the deaths of 8 persons which occurred during the 2020 elections and 6 reported deaths in the 2024 general elections. That's according to President Mahama, is to maintain public trust and ensure transparency, as well as help keep stakeholders informed. The President made the comment this afternoon at the National Muslim Thanksgiving service at the mosque at Kaokudi. My colleague Pearl Olenu joins me in studio. Pearl, welcome. So, what happened at the mosque?
Valentina, the president and his Muslim interact, that is the MPs, were at the national mosque to thank God for a successful election and also for his victory. During their campaign season, the president made mention that when he wins power, he's going to make a day for national Thanksgiving service, both the Christian and the Muslim communities. And today being the Friday, he did the Muslim Thanksgiving service, where he went to the national mosque with the IGP and also the Muslim MPs led by Honorable Aruna Idrisu to thank Allah for a successful election. The president made a lot of comments there. He made mention, it's a Muslim community, so he told them about his plans for them. He made mention of the Hajj pilgrimage for the Muslim, and he assured them that when he becomes the president, during this campaign, he assured them when he becomes the president, he's going to make sure that he reduces the charges of the Hajj, so that every Muslim could do, since it is part of their Muslim obligations. So he told them that he has set a 5-member committee led by Alhaji Collins Dauda to check to go to Mecca and also to negotiate with them and see how best they can reduce it drastically for all the Muslims in Ghana to go. He also made mention of the he replied Honorable Afenyo Markin. Yesterday, you also heard in Parliament when Honorable Afenyo Markin was saying that the president should release his cabinet members instead of doing talk. And he said that he has already assured Ghanaians and then the MPs that within 14 days
he's going to name his full cabinet.
Yes, so
they should wait for the 14 days.
Yes, within the 14 days, Honorable Afenyo Markin is going to get all the cabinet members and all the government appointees within 14 days. He's going to release everything. And also he also made mention about the killings and the death during the election, and he said that he has instructed the secretary, that is Dr. Callistus Mahama, to write to the IGP to investigate the death of the alleged 8 people who died during the 2020 and then 2024. So our listeners, take a listen.
Even though this election passed on peacefully, we must recognize that a few of our citizens lost their lives. My understanding is almost 5 of our citizens were killed in the process of the election. This is not the first time. In 2020, we know that 8 of our citizens were killed. If these continue and justice is not served, then what it does is it breeds impunity. And that's why as a party we have said that we must investigate and find out what led to these killings so that we can take action so that they don't happen again. So I've asked my executive secretary, to write to the IGP to give us a report on the status of investigations into these killings. Justice must be done. And we also will ask the Attorney General when he takes office to determine fair and adequate compensation for the families of those who have lost their lives.
President John Mahama. So I have a copy of that letter from the Office of the President signed by Dr. Callistus Mahama, Secretary to the President, to the IGP, and I'm reading that letter verbatim. It says, Inspector General of Police, Ghana Police Service, National Headquarters, dated today, January 10, 2025. Dear Dr. Dampare, request for immediate investigation into the death of 8 Ghanaians during the 2020 and 2024 general elections. I've been instructed by His Excellency John Mahama to formally request your office to initiate immediate investigations into the tragic deaths of Ghanaian citizens during the 2020 and 2024 general elections. These incidents, which occurred in various parts of the country, have left a lasting scar on our democracy, and it's imperative that justice is served for the victims and their families. To ensure the investigations are comprehensive and transparent, we respectfully propose the following. 1. Establishment of a dedicated investigative task force. Form a special task force with a CID to focus solely on these cases, ensuring undivided attention and efficient handling of this matter. 2. Collaboration with witnesses and families. Conduct thorough interviews with eyewitnesses, victims' families, and other relevant individuals who may provide crucial information. 3. Review of electoral security arrangements. Investigates the role and actions of security personnel deployed at the affected polling stations to determine their involvement or oversight. 4. Use of forensic evidence. Employ advanced forensic techniques to analyze any physical evidence from the crime scene, including bullet castings, weaponry, and other materials. The final point or the proposal is collaboration with electoral and civic bodies. Work with the Electoral Commission and other relevant agencies to review reports from the 2020 and 2024 elections for additional context. To maintain public trust and ensure transparency, we kindly request periodic updates of the progress of the investigation. This will help to keep stakeholders informed and assure the public of your commitment to uncovering the truth. We are confident in the competence and professionalism of the Criminal Investigations Department and trust that your efforts will yield the necessary results to bring justice to the victims and their families while preserving the integrity of Ghana's democratic process. We assure you of utmost support should you require any additional support or information from us. Yours sincerely, Callistus Mahama, PhD, Secretary to the President. Attention, Criminal Investigations Department, CID, is copied to the Vice President, Office of the President, Jubilee House, and also Chief of Staff, Office of the President. And this was received today at the IGP Secretariat by Sergeant Joshua Nate. So this has gotten to the IGP, it's been received. Let's speak to Lawyer Abraham Amaleba. He is lawyer for 6 of the persons who were injured during the 2020 electoral violence in Techiman. He joins us on the line. Counsel, good evening to you and thank you for your time tonight. Happy New Year.
Good evening to you as well, and many happy returns.
So, this directive from the president, I'm sure it should be a good news to you, because I remember in September 2023 when the Wenchi High Court decided to give a ruling that your people should be compensated 270,000 for all 6 persons. If you're dividing it, maybe individually they're getting 25,000 and also additional 20,000 for legal fees and others. You said it was woefully inadequate and that there should be some investigations in that case. Now that the president is directing these investigations, does it come to you as a good news?
Well, let's separate the two issues here. What we perceive was the civil aspect, and I think what the president's letter or the letter from the executive secretary of the president is dealing with is the criminal aspect. But nonetheless, it's the same set of facts. In the civil aspect, like you rightly indicated, when the Techima High Court gave that ruling, I said, and you are right, that it was woefully inadequate, because the 20,000 or the 25,000 could not even foot the cost of transportation of the lawyer for the number of times he went to Techima. This one is to unravel the criminal aspect and punish those who were the perpetrators. And I think that the president is fulfilling one of his campaign promises. And this was a campaign promise he made to the people of Techima and the victims in Techima.
The point one is establish a dedicated investigative task force, meaning that it should be the formation of a special task force to focus solely on the cases, ensuring undivided attention. They're also supposed to collaborate with the witnesses and the families, conduct thorough interviews with eyewitnesses, the victims, and other relevant authorities. Also, forensic, security, and some people are saying that when it gets to some compensations. Since this incident, 2020, Techiman South, you have been in contact with the families and some of the victims. How have they felt looking at how government has treated their case?
Well, when the judgment came, they were crestfallen. They didn't expect that the judge would give them such meager amounts. Particularly when you look at their injuries and the fact that one of them had a bullet passing through his hand, and that hand is of no use again. So I think that establishing a dedicated committee to deal with it would mean that that committee will solely have to be focusing on that investigation, unlike giving it to the police and then they will be dealing with other cases. This one is an instruction to them to just put together a team that would on daily basis deal with investigating the matter. Then I think that there are videos, and we have some of the videos. We use that for our case. There are videos to show the army officers who knelt down and aimed at the defenseless citizens who were running away and not even running towards the army. So that video too could be of help to them to identify the perpetrators.
Is that to say that you and your clients are going to appear before this task force and provide the evidence that you have, so you get the justice?
We'll surely collaborate. We'll surely collaborate if the police needs our help. We'll surely collaborate.
4 years on, another election. This time, 6 people, we are told by the report by CDD and also the West African Counter Security and Extremism, that 6 people have died election-related violence. Do you think that because the Techiman South people didn't get justice in 2020, that's why we had a repetition of electoral violence leading to the death of some people in 2024 as well?
When the Peace Council was insisting that there must be a peace pact signed, I was on record to have said that after the signing, to have said that the signing of that peace pact will not protect or stop any violence in the 2024 elections. I said that the peace pact, the nature of the peace pact is outmoded because the peace pact is still envisaging violence coming from political party operatives. But this time, the violence has changed and the perpetrators are state institutions or state agents. They are the police institution, they are the army. This time, right, it's not Azoka boys, it's not the Kandahar boys of the political parties. It is not the gun of the political parties. It is now elements in the army, elements in the police who are now engaged in the act. So merely signing peace pacts by political leaders will not resolve the matter. So I wasn't surprised that 2024 is repeated. Now you are right. If nobody was punished in 2020, how they will be emboldened, and it did embolden them to continue it in 2024. So you are right.
So let's see how the committee will start working on the task force, how soon the IGP will put it together, and as and when they would invite you and your clients to appear before and then get the justice that is well deserved.
We need to commend the president for fulfilling one of his promises he made to the people, and I think that with such leadership, we are bound to go somewhere.
Counsel, thank you very much for joining us. Lawyer Abraham Amaleba is lawyer for 6 of the persons who were injured in Techiman South in the 2020 elections. Let's stay a while longer on this conversation. Mr. Richard Kumado, fraud and security consultant has always been talking about the lack of justice for persons who suffered electoral violence, and he said if something is not done, we're going to have a recurrence of this. The president has taken a decision, asked the IGP to immediately form a task force solely dedicated to electoral violence, specifically 2020-2024 elections. Mr. Kumado joins us on the line. Good evening to you, sir. Grateful for your time tonight on 505. I'm sure you've seen that directive from the President, John Mahama. How did you feel when you saw that?
No, I wasn't surprised at all. It was one of the things he said publicly, and it's part of the things he promised the people of Ghana to do within the 120 days. So I believe Felix Kwachi has the list in front of him, and the ones they have done, he will take it, and the ones that is yet to be done, he will prompt his authorities to work at it. So when I saw it, I went back to look at many of the things he said he wants to do within the 120 days, and this is one of them. But to the extent that I have followed this case closely as the founder of Independent Election Security and Compliance Watcher, and have insisted that non-punishable offenses will always rationalize bad behavior, I wasn't surprised at all. We recorded a number of deaths in the 2024 election. So going back to the letter, it's a hooray for me, and I hope the IGP acts on it as quickly as possible. But let me say this for the purposes of education. When the president letter said task force, it doesn't mean it's not equated to the kind of committees you see being formed by politicians. If you look at the CID block, the CID block is divided into various investigative units. So you have property fraud, you have many other fraud units, financial crime fraud unit, and you have visa, you have all manner of units within the CID block. What the president letter is saying that IGP form a specialized unit of investigators within the CID block and let them deal purposely with election and election security violations in this country. One of the things that is going to help the IGP is the crime unit, which is already established within the CID block. And they have expertise in such a way that I've run this country, I have run many parts of this country with this particular unit, and I can tell you, no matter the years and the days of investigation, if you give them the support and give them the free hand, they can reconstruct the crime scene and tell you exactly what happened, and whatever you send it to in any part of the world, you will get the same result. The IGP will need to leverage on them and leverage on the case that was again at the court in Wenchi, and putting it together. It shouldn't take the IGP many days to be able to come up with the results the president is looking for.
So why, if they have this expertise, why has it taken the IGP or the police service over 4 years? We are yet to arrest anybody for the shooting in Techiman South.
They didn't want to do it. You remember when we ran into trouble at Takrady, and Percy by then keep on saying hoping on and hoping on and hoping on, and we said no, let the crime scene department get there. The day they flew them there, by the next day they had a result. There was another case at Boga. They flew them by the helicopter. When they got there the next day they had a result. And the crime scene department of the Ghana Police Service, situated at the CID block, have the credibility of doing yeoman's job that the whole world has recognized them. Except when it comes to us, people hesitate in using them. And guess what? When we were going for the election and Dampari came up with the blueprint, I said, this is a beautiful blueprint, but one of the things Dampari failed to do in that blueprint is to give recognition to the issues that happen in Techima South and people die. And when they were going to sign the peace pact, if you remember, I insisted that why didn't they bring the victims and the parents of those victims to the peace pact to ask them, why have you not dealt with the issues involving our families? And yeah, you are signing a peace pact that is fraudulent in nature, that is tempted to shade people from being held accountable in their actions and relations to elections and election-related security violence. Here we are again. They signed a peace pact, and 2024 election, people died. This is the country we decided to form for ourselves. Negligence and lackadaisical attitude by people in authority. And I'm happy the president is holding him by account. Do you know why I'm happy with this letter? And do you know what the letter is supposed to do? Two things. One is saying that Dampari, you have been negligent on your job when you took over as an IGP and you know crime has been committed. For the people who are asking for your head to be rolled, you have the chance to prove them wrong. Then again, rush up to the occasion that I do not have any opportunity to sack you because this is a case that has come to your notice and you fail in dealing with it. I pray and hope that knowing who Dampari is, he will rise to the occasion and prove his critics wrong again.